Do you want one of those Pellegrino beverages?
Yes, please.
Okay. I'll just grab those and we can start. Okay, does my hand look good in front of it? Yes, it does. Okay.
I already checked that when you were fiddling. I don't know why this is not. Can you do an announcement in the group and on the page real quick?
Let's just start the video.
Alright, fine.
Well, the announcement, we're starting the video in like a minute. What's the point of doing an announcement?
That's fine.
The announcement should have been done like a while ago because then...
Well, I'm very sorry.
I'm not saying that in a critical way. I know you're in a bad mood. We didn't even have to do this today, babe. Okay. Hey guys, how's everyone doing today? Ron here from Fallout Hobbies. We're going to do something a little different today. We're going to do some lighting in a spaceship model because I sell lighting kits and because I like building spaceship models. So as always, Jules is here.
Hey, what's up, guys?
To answer questions in close to real time if possible. What we're going to be doing is we're going to be using... Oh, geez, I almost knocked the soldering iron onto myself. Good thing it wasn't on yet. What we're going to be doing here is we're going to be using some of the micro LED kits, micro LEDs from the micro LED kits that I have in different colors. And this is a 3D printed spaceship that I did. One of my own designs, but it's based off of some retro-tastic 70s Star Trek blueprints that I found. And I wanted to put a couple lights in it. It's a very small and skinny model, so it's gonna be a little bit of effort to get the lights involved in there, but that's okay. That's what the micro LEDs are for. So just so everyone could kind of get a visual of what the finished ship looks like. This is supposed to be the Kobayashi Maru from Star Trek. Based on, like I said, some retro-tastic 70s blueprints. So there's like 2 big pods here. And then there's a bunch of like fuel tankers that kind of pop onto the top and bottom. And then an incredibly long neck. And then at that neck, like a bridge pod, like this. So I'm going to be putting 2 green lights in each one of these pods. And then I'm going to be running some brass wire through the neck. I'm going to install 1 red LED in the back here for the impulse engine, and then I'm going to install a white LED up front here for what would be like a bridge module. So these micro LEDs are pretty cool. They're 3 volt. The lighting kits that I sell come with these lily pad battery clips, which can be wired under the base. I don't think we're going to get in this video to the point where we're wiring it to this, but I'm going to be installing LEDs all through the model. And there we go. So that's the white one. So first things first, let me install a white LED and what would be the bridge module. The way I designed this ship is this panel goes over top of here, and there's actually like a little slit that would be like a forward window. So I would imagine that the bridge would be really wide and people would just be able to stand at this big window here and just kind of look out. So I want to put a little bit of light in there to accentuate that fact. So for this, I'm putting a drop of super glue. I like to use Gorilla Glue gel because it's very thick, stays kind of in a bubble. And I'm using some Instaset, just a drop of it on the LED here. And as soon as I drop that into place, it'll start solidifying the super glue. Just gotta give it a moment. Well, maybe I need another drop of Instaset. There we go. So you don't have to worry about liquids affecting the LEDs because they're all sealed up. Like these LEDs would work even if you dunked them underwater. The wires are completely enamel coated, so they got like a plastic layering on them, and then the end of the LED is just literally the diode but encased in clear plastic, so you don't have to worry about light or anything like that shorting out the LED. That's just not feasible. The other thing I want to do with this particular bridge module is I think I'm going to slice off these running lights that I had at the end and run some fiber optics for that, but I'm going to get to that in a little bit. I just want to get these wires through here. There we go. So that's pretty great. So when I install this panel on here, I'm going to have to do some light blocking, but you can see that that's where like the bridge would be. So I'm not going to fully close this up yet. Now this is an interesting thing. So right here, this resin that I use is a little translucent when light's behind it. That means that all I really have to do is I just have to paint the inside of this black so that I cover up the light there. That's not hard to do, but I'll do that after the video. I just kind of want to get that in there.
Christopher Rogers on our Facebook page says, interesting.
Thanks, Chris. All right, the next thing to wire. Yes, I know it's not miniature related. I have like 50 different hobbies. So this one is it's a little bit different than most. Next thing I want to do though is I want to install what's going to be the impulse area. So for that, I want it to be red. I'm probably going to use, attach it right onto there.
And Sukrat is checking into our watch party and our customer creations group. He says hello.
Hey man, how's it going? Right. So again, to install this one, just like I did with the white one, I'm going to put a bead of super glue right on the center of that frame there. It should be pretty good. So that would be the impulse engine. I made this ship hollow on purpose because I knew I was going to do some lighting to it. So I kind of planned in advance for that. There's a little bit more tolerance on some of these pieces than I anticipated, but that's okay. Super glue ends up covering a lot.
Sucret's asking how we're doing today.
Doing good so far. Well, Jules is not feeling 100%, but
yeah, that happens. That happens from time to time.
but other than that, doing pretty good. The kids are playing outside, so you might hear a random scream or two here and there. hopefully they'll keep the screaming to outside. If we're lucky.
Do you remember like the old days, like, you know, when we were growing up in like the 80s and our parents would just like lock us out of the house basically?
Yeah.
Why can't we do that anymore?
We can't do that. We can't lock kids outside of the house.
It's like, you know, if it was before 5 o'clock, you were not allowed to come in.
That's true. I remember being like a little kid and, you know, my mom would be at work and my grandmom would be watching me. And if I was like inside, she's like, "What are you doing inside?" Oh, with her thick Slavic accent. "Ronnie, what are you doing inside? Go back outside." All right.
Sucret says, yeah, kids will always be kids. For sure.
All right. So I did print this model at 25 micron on one of my Form 3s, which is a really nice print job, but it still needs a touch of sanding to it. Mainly in the flat areas. The curved areas are smooth as hell, but the flat areas, you see a little bit of stepping on it.
Ruben on our Facebook page says, yeah, way to cover our tracks with the screaming excuse.
Hey, we're both here. If we're both here, we can't be doing anything nefarious. Alright, so I'm going to start. I need to start running some extra wires for this. So what I do is I use enameled copper wire for this. You can buy this on Amazon. You can buy copper wire at craft stores, but I'm not sure if you can get enameled copper wire. There's a big difference. This copper wire, it looks like just regular old copper wire, but it's actually got a plastic coating on it. That's the enameled part of it. And the plastic coating prevents the wires from touching each other and shorting out the circuit. The same way that these SMD LEDs that I have in the micro LED kit, those are also enamel coated. The only ends of it that are not coated are these like little bright silver ends here. Those are exposed, but the rest of the wire up here is coated. If I connect the battery here, it works. If I connect the battery up here, it does not work because the coating blocks the electrical signal, which is a good thing because when you're running like metal wires of, you know, positive and negative current along a skinny ass neck like this, you don't want the metal wires to touch each other, short the whole thing out, and then it doesn't light up. But a lot of people ask how to solder these things because they're enamel coated. What I have found out is you don't really need to do much of anything because as soon as you apply the heat and the liquid solder to these connections, it melts away the enamel coating in just that section and makes just a perfectly fine bond as is. So what I do is I take the wire and I wrap it around towards the end here. This is the same technique that I've done for like lighting Night Titans and other tanks and stuff like that. I believe I showed something similar to this in another video when I was doing a Space Marine tank. But when you're doing stuff with wires, metal wires like this, what I like to do is wire it up like that. Here's the flux. if you're doing soldering, you always need flux. Flux is like, if you don't know, it's basically a goo, but it helps conduct the liquid solder along the channel. So when I turn the soldering iron on, which I have to plug in.
Don't burn yourself there. So Christopher says, entirely possible as a Michaels employee, though not 100% sure he's specifically working the paint and wood section.
They have metal wire in the jewelry section of Michaels, all different gauges, and they have copper wire, but I don't know if they have enameled copper wire. That's the thing, enameled. You can use regular copper wire, you just got to keep the wire separate. But I'm doing a very tight lighting job here. This model is only going to be a few inches long when it's done, so there's going to be a lot of lights and a lot of tiny wires. I can't really afford the wires to short out. So I'm getting the soldering iron heated up here. This soldering iron has been used and abused and is very dirty. I should probably get a new one. Here's some solder. Wire up this thing so that I can attach the rest of the neck to it. I need to attach the rest of the neck to this, but the wires from the SMD LED are not long enough. So, I need to do some soldering. The other thing that you're going to really want to do when you're wiring is get liquid tape. As you can see, this is covered in goo because I've opened it and spilled it a bunch of times. But this stuff is like $4 or $5. You can get it at just about any hardware store. It's liquid black electrical tape. When you open it up, it's like slimy. Blech. But you need this to seal up the ends of your soldering jobs. So after these are done being soldered, I'm going to dunk them in the liquid electrical tape so I know that these ends won't touch together when they're in the neck. And again, short the whole thing out. So there's solder flux on the ends here. Is this? Yeah, I think that's hot enough. So I'm just applying a little bit of solder here. Making sure it's all melted together. Now the heat from this and the heat from the soldering iron will melt the enamel coating on the ends of the wire. So it'll connect.
Sukrat is saying that he wishes he did this to his repulsor executioner because it would look insane with lighting, and that stuff is amazing.
Thank you. We have all the different micro LED lighting kits, and I do have a repulsor that I worked on in previous videos, but I believe I was using the regular lighting kits for that, the 9-volt lighting kits for that.
I think you were too.
But you can use all this on a repulsor as well. Alright, so before I go applying the liquid tape, I want to test it. Again, like I said, the ends are enameled. So if I connect a battery to it, nothing will happen. So what do? You sand off some of the enameling. If you're squeamish about getting cut, don't do it this way. Me, I don't care. I've cut every single finger 100 times each, down to the bone. I even lost a fingernail a couple weeks ago. So, yeah, my hands are destroyed. Par for the course. The fingernail, though, I lost from giving a kitten a bath. That was sad.
That was Jordy.
We have a blind cat that we've been taking care of, and the cat's almost not blind anymore. But I had to give the cat a bath because it was a dirty street kitten, and it bit me and took off a chunk of my fingernail. But it's almost grown back. So.
Christopher says that his commission painter that works for him said that shrink tubing would help keep wires from touching.
Shrink tubing does the exact same thing. And yes, you can use shrink tubing. I just don't like it because it's a whole extra process when I can just brush paint something on. So there's that. So that works. But shrink tubing and liquid tape and electrical tape and all that stuff do the exact same thing. They're all a type of rubber, and they're a type of rubber that stops electricity from connecting. So I'm just going to dab these in here. And there, that's done. This stuff takes about 5 minutes to dry or so. So I'm just gonna let those dry. Once that's dry, I can attach the neck and stuff and move on with that.
Sukrat wants to see that repulsor that you have all lit up, if you could show it on camera. If you happen to have it handy.
I do. It's not done being put together. Let me see. Well, seems to work so far. Why are the back engines not working? Oh, because I didn't finish wiring the back engines. That would explain that. So I had this run on a 9-volt circuit using one of the other LED lighting kits that I sell. I didn't finish putting it together. That's why the back engines aren't soldered yet. Flickering LED lights in the engines to look like thruster patterns. And then a bunch of different LEDs that I was working on here for headlights, like that. And interior lights, and this is a piece of fiber optic cable that's going to eventually go out through one of these sensors and stuff. The switch was hidden in the back here, under one of the turrets. So that's where that's at. That's going to get finished up eventually soon. I do have another video on the Facebook stream list where if you go back to the Facebook channel, you can see the how I lit that up, because I did a whole video about lighting that one up too. All right, let's get into some greens here.
Sukrat says, "Oh wow, I need it."
It does look pretty cool. The lighting kits are fun. All right, so some green lighting. These are like deflector dish type things. But what I really wanted to do here, I'm going to wire these last. These things go in here, and I want to paint them separately from painting the rest of the ship. But they would go in there, and I wanted the light to be around the outer edge, but not in the front. So I'm going to paint those last. I'm not going to worry about those right now.
Sukrat says that's genius.
Thanks, man. What I do want to light up is the nacelles in here. So there's clear pieces right here that I installed. So if I put an LED in there, it's going to light up the whole engine. But this is where you want to start thinking about like LED placement. Because if I put it in here, right here, it's a hot spot. It just looks bright. But if I aim the LED kind of like this way, sideways, it doesn't look as intense. It looks more scaled, I guess would be the right word. So for something like that, what I'm going to do, I'm really going to burn myself on this thing. I'm moving this over to your side.
Mike, let me see if I can add some of the previous videos to our watch party. But if you do go to the Facebook page on your desktop, there's a tab on the left-hand side that says Live, and it has all the previous videos. I'll see if I can link to it too. And Sukrat says he's going to look at the LED page after the stream. So I'm going to post a link to that too.
So the cool thing about these SMD LEDs, because these wires are metal, you can kind of bend them around and they'll hold their shape. So I'm bending this so that it's flat here, and then I'm bending the actual tip of the LED curved up here, so that when I glue it, I'm aiming the light into the channel there, as opposed to just putting it willy-nilly. So I can do what I was talking about earlier with aiming everything. So let me apply some super glue here. And get that LED right into that hole right there. And let it just sit there for a minute. Okay. There we go. Perfect. So that's what I'm talking about. Now it's aimed and not as bright. It looks really bright on camera still, I know. But in person, it looks a lot better because it's
Yes,
diffused.
Richard, that's correct. That is the Kobayashi Maru.
Mm-hmm.
Says he's going to need one at some point.
Well, I actually sell this model kit on one of my side gig pages, which is called Ron Gamble Model Works. It's all like sci-fi related stuff or Star Trek stuff. Star Wars or Star Trek. It's not connected directly with Fallout Hobbies. It's a side gig, and it's not something that is a big business. It's literally like if I make a model of a Starship and want to sell it, I put it there. But I might make like 3 models 1 month, and might not make anything for like 6 months. So it's just kind of there. But I do sell them. I do sell this model on my other store. Okay. So I am going to be. See, this is actually big enough that that wire can run right out that channel, which is pretty cool. That's good. This panel goes onto here. I'm going to have to do a little bit of like gap filling because of the lighting. So what I kind of wanted to do was get all the lighting in place, and then I can close up some of these seams with a little bit of super glue, and then mask off the clear spots, and then spray the whole model black to kind of block out any like light that's bleeding through the plastic, and then I can start painting it the actual colors that it's going to be. But for this thing, for these deflector dishes, I don't even have to install them now.
Chris said he was going to ask for a link to the Model Works, but I already posted it preemptively. Cool. So there you go.
Yeah, I got a couple of, they're mostly conversion kits for like Star Wars TIE Fighters, and I got a couple Star Trek models on there, the Kobayashi Maru. I got a couple more in the works right now. Upgrade kits for like the new Star Trek Discovery Enterprise, things like that.
Didn't you say eventually you're going to have me set up a new Shopify store for that page?
Eventually, yeah, but it's just not a high priority right now. Probably like sometime within the next like 2 or 3 months, I'm thinking.
You can do that.
You're absolutely amazing at building websites, so that will happen sometime soon. Which is really awesome that my wife is the shit at all the tech-oriented and marketing stuff. I directly contribute the growth of the company to her helping me out.
Aww.
Aw. Love you, babe.
Love you too.
For those of you that don't know, Jules and I got married a couple weeks ago, so married during a pandemic. I feel like that should be a book title.
It probably is. Just search Amazon.
Right. So this is going to go hook right through here. Sorry, I keep moving this a little too high on the camera. Hook right through here. But I'm not gluing it now because I'm going to paint these things separately. I just wanted to kind of show you where the piece would be. Like that. Let me get it. There we go. So that's the deflector dish piece. But I want to paint that separately, so I'm not installing it right now. I'm also debating on whether I'm going to drill this hole out and run a fiber optic and have a light in there. I don't know. I haven't thought that far yet. So I'm going to connect more LEDs. What is wrong with my fingernail? Oh, that's super glue. Okay.
Mike and Sukrat are saying congrats, and he also says, don't get old too quickly. We need you for all this amazing stuff.
Oh, thanks, man. I am not old yet. I will be 40 this year. So I think I still have a good, viable decade or two left in me.
You are older than me, though, by 3 weeks.
By 3 weeks. Come on, accelerator. Accelerate.
Richard on the Facebook page is saying that he already has the Thai Brute and the Thai Whisper from Excellent Prints.
Oh, thank you. Which Richard is that?
Richard Ray? R-A-Y-L.
Oh, it's Rich.
Oh.
Yeah. I couldn't tell. Sorry, Rich. I couldn't tell by... She didn't tell me the last name.
I'm sorry. I'm slacking over here.
His name's Ryle.
Gotcha.
It's my friend Rich down in Florida that used to run Nova Hobbies back in the day.
Oh, okay. Sukrat says 40 in body and 12 at mind. Yeah, that
Always.
sounds about right. We're pretty juvenile around here.
Juvenile, and we have a bunch of juveniles. Just a house full of kids. There we go. Ah, super glue on the fingers. It's fine. Okay. Let me bend this LED for this one. This bent up a little bit here so that moves into it. There we go. Let me make sure I like the way that looks before I glue it. Okay, that should be good. A little bit more accelerator. Okay, that's in place. Now I could probably go ahead and just glue these things in place too. Maybe. I'm not going to get trigger happy on that yet because I don't know if I want to put this warning light in, so that can just go off to over there. Alright.
Mike says in our watch party, super glue on the fingers gives another layer to cut through with the X-Acto. Safety first.
It's true. One thing I like to do here when I'm kind of smashing wires into like a close area is I actually like to bend one of the segments back even further, because that way it really reduces the risk of things accidentally touching and screwing up the circuit. So if I do that and space it out even more, then I should be able to fit everything in there just fine. It's through the channel. this is the top. So like that. I'm doing a test run before I commit it with glue. I gotta shave the ends of this off a little bit more. There we go. That's me holding the battery that's causing that flickering. That's not a problem with the LED. Sand the ends of this off a little bit more. There we go. I had to sand the urethane off the wires a little bit more. All right, so that works. So that's good, obviously. Now I can just put a dab of super glue in here to commit to this course of action. There we go. All right. Then I don't want to close this up yet though, but this will connect like this when it's done. And then these nacelles will go on here. And then all the pods will go in the middle. But I'm going to be painting all those pieces separately because I want to get a really clean paint job on this. And my foot fell asleep. All right. Why don't I break out a little bit of fiber optics here and see if I can get these running lights to work well. So,
oh shoot, I did not update the description. I still had the description for our live stream from when we were late because of the wedding brunch like last week or what have you. So Christopher Rogers is saying congrats because he just read it now. That's he's just being bad about updating. Yeah, we've been married for like a week now?
Oh, like 2 weeks.
2 weeks.
I think.
Time flies when you're having fun.
It's like a weekend. So when I designed the model, there we go. I put round nubs that would be where the running lights were, because some people like to light models and some people don't. So I gave them the option. Here, I'm going to add a little bit of fiber optics to the head. So I got to drill the holes out, which doesn't take long. I could use a power drill, but I don't want to run the chance of screwing this up. There. One hole drilled. I'm just going to run fiber optics in one side for the video because I don't want you guys to sit around and watch me drill 4 holes. I feel like that just gets a little boring.
The Smasher to Mango on our Twitch channel is saying hello and congratulations. Aw, thanks.
Thank you.
By the way, we have a Twitch channel now.
Yes. All of our videos are streaming on Facebook, Twitch, and YouTube now. This one's a little tricky because if I cut straight through, it's going to go like that. So I kind of have to do it at like a bit of a 45-degree angle.
Aw, Christopher Rogers on our Facebook page says that him and Sarah Rogers have been married since October 25th. So, woohoo, fun stuff.
Nice. Congrats.
Congrats, that's awesome.
What just happened there? Did I snap off a piece by accident? I might have to use a little putty to fill in something there.
Christopher says eventually we'll be streaming the save point plays from the shop eventually. So do you have a hobby shop? And Phil Moss says that drill is awesome.
I love this hand drill. It's just a little chunk of plastic I have to drill through, so this is why I'm not doing all 4 of them in a row. Just bear with me.
Thanks. The Smasher to Mango is hosting us on his channel too.
Oh, thanks, man.
It's awesome.
Almost there. There we go. You was getting close.
That's awesome, Chris. We do, I don't know if you are aware, we do have a wholesale program. So if you would like me to set up access for that for Fallout Hobbies for you, just let me know. And Sukrat, that drill is actually available, I believe, on Amazon.
Uh-huh.
Let me see if I can find a link.
You had it before, but it's called a hand drill.
Yeah. They are fun.
So I got a little bit of fiber optic here. Now, what I'm going to do is get this fiber optic like right up to the light here. And then, when I turn the light on, it'll shine the light out through it. I don't need to test that because I've done so much fiber optic. I know this is going to work. You just want to get it right up on that. Okay. The other side.
Chris says they just started their hobby store March 1st. And yeah, I'll see if I can get you that link to that drill too, Chris. And he said he'll be in contact. And he was looking at doing wholesale before they got started.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, it turns out it's actually called a pin vise hand drill. I'll just go ahead and post this link.
So as you can see, the light's coming out the tips of the fiber optic now. So what I got to do is I'm going to trim this back a bit. I'm going to trim this back a little bit more before the end, but for now. All right, piece fits on there without a problem. There. Now there's tiny little running lights on the side of the ship. So that's how you do some fiber optic work on these little guys. Now, what I was saying before is that I'm probably going to do the same thing over here. So there's a tiny running light here. But in order to do that, it's a little bit trickier. I'm going to have to drill the wire, install the fiber optic, run the fiber optic out to a center point. And I'm probably going to connect, because I also have a running light here and here. So I'm probably going to connect all the fiber optic to one like core light right here. But I'm not going to do that right now because that's going to be a little bit tricky.
Phil says thanks for the link. Chris says neat. Yeah, I'm not sure if that's the exact same one he's using, but they're pretty much all the
There's
same.
a couple companies that make ones that are almost identical. What I can do though, you know what, I really don't need to do that just yet. Let me think for 1 minute how I want to approach this fiber optic before I do that. Do I want to just run the fiber optic channels through here? Maybe. Maybe I do. Alright. What time do we have?
It's 1:53.
All
It's your
right.
time.
We're going to be cutting this video in a few minutes. I kind of covered all the main points I wanted to cover today as far as like the micro LED lighting and stuff like that. I'm getting to a point with this model where most of the major lights are installed. So I want to finish up doing these running lights. And then I also want to start light blocking everything and start painting it. I'm not going to be building the whole model in one shot. I'm going to be building it in sections.
Mike says he picked up a couple of your micro LED kits last night. He's looking forward to trying them out.
Oh,
Awesome.
Thank you. Yeah, the micro LED kits are real fun. I have also, if you guys are interested in the lighting videos, I do have other live streams that we did in the last couple months that covered micro LED lighting as well. I put lighting in a typhus figure, and I put lighting in a Iron Father for Iron Hands, both using the micro LED lighting kits and hiding the lily pad pieces under the bases, because these are the battery clips for it. So if you want to go back through those too, that's a lot of tips and tricks there. And what else did I do? I think I did one with a Night Titan too, didn't I?
Yeah, I think you did.
Where I was putting micro LEDs in the head of a Night Titan. So that's also on there too. So there's definitely, and the repulsor tank using regular LED lights. So there's definitely a good couple lighting videos that we have in the past. So right now I'm going to kind of wrap this up because I'm pretty much at a point where I need to start painting and whatnot.
Is that what we're going to be showing next week, or?
Painting this?
Yeah.
I don't know what we're going to do next week yet.
Okay.
It might be Starship related still though.
And Phil says he does have one of those drills something from Games Workshop. It's not bad, and he also says he loves all of our lighting projects. That's what originally drew him to our channel.
Huh. Cool.
Nice.
Thank you. So I'm just going to quickly put this together so you guys kind of get a view of the kit.
Romdrel on Twitch says, "Truth, you guys do some amazing work."
Thank you. So here's how the kit will more or less look when it's done. It's got these two big side modules, a bunch of neutronic fuel storage pods, and then this long ass neck with a bridge. So once I'm done putting all the sub-assemblies together, I'm going to run all the wires. Let me get these pods off here. These actually connect pretty well. Once it's all done, I'm going to be running the wires from here through this side piece, running the wires from the neck right to here. And then this is all going to be connected with just 2 brass wires right out through this bottom hole, and that's going to go to the base.
Mike says he's going to try and light up the energy shield for, what is that?
Vansar Ganger and Necromunda.
Yeah. Never pronounce stuff. I slaughter stuff all the time.
So yeah, that's basically what I'm going to do. Is run the wires through here, here, and then out here, and then this will be where it connects to the base. I'm just going to give it kind of like, probably like a 50 millimeter base with an extra lip to support the battery underneath of it.
Chris Rogers on the Facebook page says he still has the old camo stencils from a while back, so he's looking forward to doing more stuff from us. Awesome.
Cool. All right, guys, well, and gals, thanks for stepping in today and watching the video. As always, we're here on Thursdays. That's kind of our new thing. So we're going to be doing Thursdays at 1. It's what we've been doing the past couple of weeks, and we're going to keep doing it. Oh, wait. Hold up. One more thing I wanted to show. So this is a Polar Lights Klingon Bird of Prey in 1/1000 scale, which is an incredibly tiny ship. But I also use the micro LEDs on this one too, as a perfect example of how to do it. So I'm not done with the base. That's why the wires are all loose around here. And I'm not done painting it because there's a couple more pieces that need to go on. But these are like the red micro LEDs for the back here. And then there's a red one in the... That's Jules' phone.
That would be one of the kids calling from outside, because she's on my, even when I have Do Not Disturb on for the videos. So I'm going to go make sure they're not like killing each other.
Okay.
Sukrat says thanks for teaching us.
Well, we're going to be ending this video right now. So, kids. So anyway, yeah, so this was another great example of the micro LED kits because I used a yellow one right here, I used a red one here, and 2 red ones back here. And I was able to fit all that in there to get, you know, Klingon Bird of Prey that's lit up, but obviously super tiny because you can see this fits in the palm of my hand. But yeah, micro LED kits, they're pretty fun. A lot of good stuff. Anyway, we're going to go make sure our kids haven't killed each other while we're filming this video, and we will see you guys next Thursday at 1 o'clock Eastern Time. Thanks for watching.